Georgia Tech week. I mean, what is different about preparing for this and getting them mentally?
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, it's two things really. One, tactically being ready for everything they have, which is going to be different than what you do week in and week out. And then secondly, but probably more importantly, is your attitude in being ready to match them and to match their toughness and to match their physicality, because it's a game where you certainly have to have your tactics right, but it is still a blocking and tackling day at the office, and the team that blocks better, or the team that defeats blocks better and tackles better versus the team that breaks tackles better usually wins.
Manny, do you condition for this game when you consider they could be out there for a lot of long drives?
They do. You do have to get. Sometimes it's mental conditioning to not lose your poise. Like you say, you can be out there for quite a while. They're going to huddle. They're not going to go fast, and it's not going to be hot outside. But sometimes what happens is you get mentally worn down, and something that you were reading early on, and all suddenly your eyes and your mind starts to slow down. So your feet may be willing, but sometimes your mind is where the fatigue really sets in.
There's been a couple of decommitments recently in the class. What would your message be to recruits during this time? You guys have kind of struggled a little between games. What would you sort of tell them at this point?
Well, we know that decommitments are the new normal, right? I mean, every team in the country is dealing with decommitments. So whether you're winning all your games, we had decommitments last year, we were number 2 in the country. So part of that is just the way kids are right now. But secondly, I think certainly with the guys I know we're recruiting on defense, I think they see that you can play for an elite defense, here. Everybody knows how young we are in offense, and we've got some recruits that we really think that can turn, make some immediate headway on that side of the ball. And we all know that success is not linear. We wish it was. We wish you would take one step, and the step would always be obvious. But in the business world, or in athletics or sports, you don't always necessarily take one obvious step every year. So sometimes that's hard to see. But I think the relationships that we form with the guys that we're recruiting ultimately will tell at the end.
Are you confident you're going to hold on to most of the defensive guys?
I do. We have some outstanding guys, but more than that, I'm confident that we're going to have a great defensive recruiting class in terms of the guys, again, by our standard, which are guys that are great football players down here in South Florida, and then some guys we go further away to grad.
I mean, how different is it, because now the early signing period, you don't have January to kind of take away from maybe a disappointing performance during the season. They literally, it's fresh in their heads. I mean, does that matter? Does that come into play at all because it's December now?
I think at times, well, it's funny, we all overvalue our own importance, right? Because it's just where we live, okay? But if you think about how many people in America are disappointed with how their season's going, it's kind of remarkable, right? There's really not that many people that have met their expectations. That's why they're called expectations. Are the kids really weighing all that? Do the kids, do they hear the negativity more where they live? There's no question, right? There's a lot of schools that we're recruiting against that are all very disappointed in the way that they're playing. But we're not in their echo chamber. So I think sometimes again, as adults, I think we over stress the importance sometimes of the short-term results in terms of what's going on with these guys. Because I think the kids are buying into the future of the program. They're buying into where they fit in the program, and they're buying into the people in the program.
Manny, the fans obviously are up in arms saying the sky is falling. Have you, in your 3 years here, seen any evidence that fan anger, fans reaching out to recruits, has at all hurt you in recruiting?
I wouldn't have a way to quantify that. What I know is this: I know we have to play better, right? I mean, everyone should be angry. What happened last Saturday is wrong, and we got to fix it. So, to me, that's. That we got to get better. We got to get playing better, and that to me is all that matters.
Manny, last couple of weeks when the criticism has risen, it's been on execution. But have the players taken the onus to the point where they've had a meeting, they've met with each other, they've talked through the whole situation? Have the players held player-only meetings to try to be accountable for this?
Yeah, there's been some of that. Sometimes that is sometimes that works, sometimes that's sort of Hollywood. Sort of deal, But ultimately, that is what it comes down to. The accountability falls first on us as coaches, and then secondly, it falls on those guys to play. And that's why the message has never changed from the very first time that we ever spoke in this occasion, right? To where you on the side of your helmet, there's a lot that comes with that. To where the you on your coaching shirt, there's a lot that comes with that. And there is a standard that you have to play to. And what happens is that sometimes when things start going bad, everybody starts looking, I'm talking about us on the inside, not on the outside. We start looking for all these other things that we want to blame that are not us, okay? And ultimately, everyone has to feel that personal accountability that we all individually have to get better, okay? You want us to play better? Play better. You want us to win? Play better. You want us to win? Coach better. We all have to do better, and that's how the team gets better.
Manny, you touched on this earlier, but this isn't a fun game to play for defensive players. You know, they're cut blocking you. It's smash mouth football, play after play. You have long drives. They go for it on fourth down. Are you concerned at all, you know, with what these kids are fighting through emotionally, that they show up there with the fortitude that it takes to do what they need to do?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It is everything you say is true, you know, but our guys are kind of weird. I mean, we like playing against us. I think this is a great offense to scheme against. Our guys like playing against these guys. We've had some pretty good games against them the last couple of years, tight games. But I will say this, our guys, and we are 10 weeks in, whatever it is, I mean, if you look at, even you look at the Duke game this past weekend, you look at what our guys do, put in adverse situations, you say, okay, well, here we are with our record being this, and we're already in November. How will they respond? Well, I don't know. How do they respond 6 times when they got put out on a short field against Duke? They held them 6 points. You know, how do they respond in the second half of this game? How do they respond when we're down 20? I mean, they just, you're right. I mean, almost like as a coach, almost like a parent, you're like, will they do it again? You know, and then they do it again, and you're just so proud of them because they've shown this amazing mental resilience, and that comes from our leadership. That comes from our age. That comes from our experience. That comes from Jaquan Johnson and Gerald Lewis and Shaq Quarterman and Joe Jackson and Mike Jackson and all. The list goes on and on and on. That in a way, it's like they're all afraid to be the one that lets the pack down. You know, and that's like the most amazing thing, and that's the thing that we're talking about that we have to protect. You know, as we go through these last, you know, part of November, we got to protect the pack and just, you know, and play for each other. And they've done that, you know, all year, which as a coach, it's hard to, you know, have anything other than just utmost pride in that.
Thanks a lot, Coach.